every third sentence that supposedly Gabriel said to Muhammad contradicts two before it. An angel doesn't have to do that. The same as if you believed in the story of Adam and Eve, God doesn't lie to Adam. Why would God lie? And then lie again and lie again. It wouldn't, and it doesn't. And that's man's idea. Because when he said, okay, if you eat of that tree, you shall surely die. And then they didn't. Well, since you ate of that tree, eat of this tree. I mean, it's contradictory of one of the most powerful forces creating in the whole multi-universe. All right, so if you want to take what God was supposed to be, but their God, and the story was created from a particular person. Who wrote it? Remember, the Bible, the third of the Bible was written by Moses. And now we got the Sumerian tablets and everything that try to add in the Inky and the New and create the Anunnaki story and create a whole new reality to it, which is only partially true. Sure, there was an alien race that screwed up the human race. In Atlantis, it was beautiful. I was there. But an alien race did come. And because of that, it was sunk. Because when you have all those powers and you get abusive, the world would be destroyed anyway. If you have psychic abilities. If you could levitate a car, you can levitate a mountain. So if you were building a pyramid and levitating all these stones or whatever you were doing, and now you have the power and you get ego, you just take that stone and squish a whole bunch of people, and then you're the only one that's controlling the city, and it becomes evil. The powers were taken away for many reasons. Because the number one reason is we would abuse them. Sure, psychic abilities are very small to the present day because, again, if somebody was psychic enough to be able to see the next minute of the future, they could stop every accident, they could stop, create, and build and change everything of the world itself. And nobody has the right to play God on this planet right now. Jesus didn't even do that. Buddha didn't do that. I mean, you could go to all the masters, and you could go back to Moses, who played the game. He was a black magician. Sorry, people. In the magic world, if you kill people, you're a black magician. If you save lives, you're a white magician. So when he came off the mountain, just supposedly talking to God, or having a vision with God, comes down and kills 3,000 people. So in that vein, he's going against something he was just told. Take that further. When he did all the magic, when he was trying to free his people, magic against magic only killed people. If you know the story, I mean, they proved that it happened. And they said natural nature caused all those things to happen. But they did say they all happened. And it explains why the children in the lower part of the house died and not the people in the higher house. The youngest children were always on the bottom and the adults were on the top. So when the gas came in on the ground, it killed all the children. But again, that was because of Moses. Whatever he said to attack the Pharaoh attacked everybody. So he was responsible for that. And I don't think anybody on this planet killed more people than Moses did. Then when he took his people and started marching them towards the Promised Land, I'm going into this because people need to understand religion because they probably never read the Bible, at least from cover to cover, more than once or twice or 10 times, which I have. But when Moses takes the people across the Promised Land, it's 4 generations. Do you know what that means? All the people he left with, that left the Pharaoh with him, all died. They never made it to what Moses thought the Promised Land was. Now, he marches them around in circles until they die and all their children become adults, and then he brings those people to the Promised Land. What is the Promised Land? Moses' idea of what the Promised Land is, a piece of land. Not God's interpretation of the Promised Land. The Promised Land's in heaven. So the Promised Land wasn't this place. But when they got there, they were forced to eliminate the people that were there already. So does that sound like a religion, a spiritual path, or the right way to move forward if you're talking about God? So when we talk about what we work with, there's ways to go about analyzing what you get from it and what you do with that. If you're talking to God and God gives you a vision or something, and it changes reality, I guess what? It's probably true. But if it just helps you to go out and say, well, I'm going to get a new job today. If God had to worry about trillions and trillions of billions of people in multiple universes, what they were going to eat today or what they were going to do tomorrow, if they had to go to the bathroom or not, I mean, if that was God's mission, imagine that. I don't think it would have created it all in the first place. But it's not the mission, and it's not what God is. So let's go into the things that people do work with. I'm sorry, I didn't check. I'm in the chat room, and I just want to make sure that there's no questions in there. All right, no problem. All right, so sticking with angels, people say they work with Gabriel, Michael, mostly, most popular angels. Two of the angels that were warriors that fought in heaven and were cast down to the lower realm, meaning the physical and astral plane. All right. So was Lucifer. Lucifer was a high angel, and he was sent down as well. But his role is allowed to be, and not today, but one day I will, when Jesus met with Lucifer. Lucifer wasn't killed by Jesus. Jesus didn't have the power to do that. Jesus wasn't God, but Lucifer was given the right to stay there for major reasons. I call him the doorway keeper, and we have to pass Lucifer as well when we go into the astral plane or beyond that. Now, if you think he's bad, there was a good movie on Lucifer on TV. It kind of exaggerated the truth, but it kind of showed you who Lucifer kind of really is. He's a being just like Gabriel, Michael. I can go. There's 9 angels in the Bible, but there's a few others. I mean, Ramtha came up with that God that she worked with, God being whatever he was. We can name things, but when we change it, it's a little more realistic to a person, because when you go into the angels of the Bible, you need to believe in the Bible. Otherwise, don't call on those angels. All right? But again, when you call on an angel, what do you want from an angel? Heal my sickness, heal my partner's sickness, change the reality of the world? They don't do that. It's not their mission. They can, on the other hand, help you as an individual soul move forward. How do they do that? Well, the first thing is you have to learn how to leave your body, because they can't work in the physical reality. And they don't need to show you plants and trees and cars and people and drugs and drinking and all that. They don't need to show you that. You're in it. They need to help you see beyond that. But those things keep your attention here so you don't look further than that. Are you going to look for God when you have the best drugs on the market, you got the best alcohol, and you're partying with a bunch of women and you're one guy? I mean, all those things. Are you going to put your attention on God instead of that? The Muslim religion has their set belief in sex, which is, I'm not going to go into detail. Like I said, I'd like to talk about that one day to the world before mankind loses its own reality, which means the United States. When we lose our own laws that we have and be infringed by new laws, in the Muslim religion, they're allowed to beat their wives. If their wife doesn't have a shower, they can beat her. If they don't have sex, they can beat her. And you know the stories about them showing their faces and things like that. They get killed, and then those people don't get punished really bad when they burn their wives and stuff. It's a horrible scene, but it's religion. Now, the Protestants and the Catholics were always fighting. Now, in the United States, when the Spanish and the Christians came into the United States, they tried to get the tribes to fight. The Apache, the Navajo people, and the Hopi people to fight each other. And that's the way they tried. Luckily, the Native people weren't that ignorant. That's a whole other story as well. But when you talk about angels, and you're working with an angel, and you decide to work on leaving your body, they will be there. Everybody has an angel. You could say guide. We'll use the other word later, but there's an angel there waiting for you, just for you. Why? Because it chose to. It's up to you to make the decision that you want to work with an angel. Why would you? Because it would only help you. It will not hurt you. Now, the other words that we'll get into is aliens, demons, which also take the role as angels in people's lives. And let's go back to the angel. Well, when you leave your body, the first thing that a person has to learn, which I say, which is one of the things I will teach in a class, is protection. Wear a crystal around your neck, yeah, in the physical. Burn sage in your house, yeah, in the physical. But when you step out of your body, you're not taking those things with you. So there's multiple things you need to learn about that alone, the protection, because that's when walk-ins and demons and possession happens. Even if it's for a short period of time. You don't think there's these entities around everybody waiting to use a body? I mean, ghosts are stuck here for many hundreds of years. You don't think they're bored or will take a chance to do anything or talk if they have the right to or the chance to? I mean, but then we can go into all the other words like poltergeist. They don't like to talk to people. But there's multiple things that are happening. So when you're working with your spirit, your soul as yourself, who you are, and you're learning to leave the body, you really have to focus on your protection first and then be willing to work with a true angel. The first thing I tell everybody, in that place, you need to feel the protection from spirit. If you feel that, you are protected. It's that simple. If you know that it's there, and don't say, because in the Bible it says everybody's protected by God. That's not the way it works. If you don't know God, you can't talk about God. If you don't know Jesus, you shouldn't be talking about Jesus. All right? So when we talk about an angel, and you're working with an angel, Gabriel comes to an angel. He didn't know who it was the first time he met it. The second time he meets with it, he suddenly knows who it is. Did he ask Gabriel, who are you? And he said, I'm Gabriel. Then the second question I will say to you, if I tell you I'm God, will you believe it? If you're out of your body and you meet with an angel and they say they're God, do you believe it? It's all a matter of being aware, responsibility to yourself as soul, and then challenging things that aren't real or feel good or right. Now, soul's always right. All right? Without the mind consciousness, without the programmed ideas of right and wrong of the physical reality, soul's aware. Soul will protect you all through life. We'll go into a technique before I end today on how to determine whether soul's talking to you or your mind's talking to you. But in that, you need to know that. So when you're out of your body the first time, you have to be secure in your protection. Then you have to know that you will be put back in your body no matter what happens. Because that's the point when you get lost or you can lose control and somebody can walk in your body. But if you have protection means you're aware of some higher being, angel, God, that works with you. And then that becomes your protection. All right, so when you step out of your body for the first time and this angel comes to you, now, what if it's a ball of light? What if it's a blue ball of light? What if it's a being of pure white light? Or what if it's a being purple? Who are you going to run to? Probably the white light or the blue ball of light. The purple being is, well, he's purple. He can't be God. Now, and I'll tell you this, which I learned, and this is a fact that nobody can talk about. All the different inner masters wear different colored robes. Just like anything else, the color determines where you are. And believe it or not, purple, why Buddhism uses purple, it's one of the highest colors. When you have this angel come to you for the first time, fear shouldn't be there because supposedly you're realizing you know you're protected. Then please don't tell it what you need to do or what you want to do. It knows. It's been there. It's watched you your whole life. You don't have to say, well, I want to learn how to play baseball. No, and hopefully that's not what you're going to even try to ask it. Let it take you where it wants to take you. Because every step, it knows how much you can move forward in that step. It's not going to show you things beyond your capability of learning at that time. So when you meet with an angel, put your hand out. By your own heart, you should feel the compassion and love there. You don't have to create it. You never met this person. Why do you love it? Why does the love radiate over you? Because it's what you're going to perceive from